not really very much difference between the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine in terms of how they are formulated. The real big difference, frankly, is the storage and transport requirements. A lot of people have obviously been concerned about the logistics of the Pfizer vaccine because it requires ultra cold storage, and then it needs to be thawed and then actually used, injected within a relatively short period of time, as opposed to the Moderna vaccine, which can stay at room temperature and can be easily transported back and forth without much issue. There's also a difference in terms of the time between the first and second doses. It's 21 days for the Pfizer vaccine. It's 28 days for the Moderna vaccine. But in terms of the active ingredients, they're essentially the same thing. They're both mRNA vaccines. Now, the mRNA vaccines scare a lot of people. They seem to be, worried that these are spooky technologies, that they're going to inject us with nanoparticles, and, Microsoft and others are going to be watching our every move. This is obviously fabricated and it's nonsensical. What the mRNA is essentially going into our cells, and it's like a USB key being plugged in to our cells and instructing our cells to make portions of the spike protein, and it does it very efficiently. And because it's doing it very efficiently, we can actually mass produce these vaccines much more quickly. The potential risk is that sometimes it does it so efficiently that the immune response may be too good. So there may be a slightly higher likelihood of someone having a hyperimmune response to one of these vaccines, for example, compared to the vector-based vaccines, which are still likely to be approved relatively soon, like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, I don't want to get too much into it right now, but I will say that the mRNA vaccines are completely synthetic, which means that they are made in a lab. The mRNA is made in a lab. It is not man-made at all. It is lab manufactured. The AstraZeneca and the Janssen vaccines are derived from fetal cell lines. That doesn't mean that we are perpetuating or asking for aborted fetuses to be utilized repeatedly for the manufacturing of these vaccines. What it means is that they are derived from one aborted fetus. One of them was in 1972. There was another aborted fetus in 1985. And since that period of time, we have used the cell line of fetal cells from those fetuses because they allow cells to rapidly divide and make vaccines. And we've been doing this with multiple vaccines. We do this with the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. It's done for the chickenpox vaccine. It is from the same fetus. So this is not a situation where we are utilizing aborted fetuses from this day and age. It is all from 40, 50 years ago, where these aborted fetuses, the cell line has been stored in freezers and they can last for decades, and we can keep drawing on them over and over.